So welcome back everyone, and today we're going to be making the smell of stinky feet. The compound we're after today is known as isovaleric acid, and this is a common low molecular weight carboxylic acid that you find in, well, stinky shoes. And it's produced by bacteria, and like most low molecular weight carboxylic acids, they don't smell the best. And mainly this is produced in the feet because sweat contains a amino acid called leucine, and bacteria can convert this into isovaleric acid using the magic of biochemistry. But if you look at the structure of leucine here and isovaleric acid here, you can see how bacteria can make this conversion. So let's go ahead and get into it. So to make our isovaleric acid, we're going to need isoamyl alcohol, which we can then oxidize to isovaleric acid. But we need a source of isoamyl alcohol. And instead of buying it, I decided let's take the fun route and try to get it from somewhere or try to make it ourselves. So after scrolling through Rexies and Wikipedia and a bunch of other sources, there's really not an amateur-friendly way of making isoamyl alcohol, right? They're all industrial methods and just they're not practical. But on the Wikipedia page, it says that the common source of isoamyl alcohol is from fermentation. And when they do the distilling process to make alcohols, right, drinking alcohols, you get something at the end called fusel oils, which is the thick, oily part of the distillation. And that is pretty much just higher molecular weight alcohols that are formed during the fermentation. Anyway, to make a long story short, this fusel oil is mainly comprised of isoamyl alcohol, and this is again due to the amino acid leucine. So during the fermentation, leucine is present, and by the work of bacteria, this gets turned into isoamyl alcohol, which is present in the fusel oil. So now it's time to go to my local distillery, and it's a really beautiful place. And they also were very kind enough to give me some samples of their fusel oil. Well, it's not really their fusel oil. They mix their heads and their tails together, so it's kind of a mixture of both. And he also gave me some samples of the hearts, which is the actual drinkable whiskey. Well, it's not really whiskey yet, it still has to be aged in a barrel. So now that I got my samples, it's time to attempt to collect all of our isoamyl alcohol out of it. And well, the simplest way to do this is just to do a fractional distillation. So I went ahead and set up a whole apparatus for fractional distillation, and then I added our samples in and started the distillation. At first, we got a bunch of low boiling stuff, which is probably methanol, a little bit of acetone. There really wasn't much of it, but everything else that came over was pretty much just ethanol and some water. Now, at the very end, there was some fusel oils, but due to the size of my distillation setup, I couldn't extract all the fusel oils, not even close, because it kind of just wetted the outside of the glass, and that was all there was, and I couldn't heat it anymore because it wasn't going to get pushed up. So there was fusel oils in there, it just wasn't enough to get any discernible amount of isoamyl alcohol out. So sadly, my attempt at getting isoamyl alcohol from a local distillery failed. Okay, since our extraction from fusel oil failed, I just went ahead and took the easy way out and bought some. So here's 500 milliliters of isoamyl alcohol. Look inside there. It looks like a thick, oily type liquid. So that's our isoamyl alcohol. And yeah, let's turn this into the smell of stinky feet. Okay, so for this we're going to be doing oxidation, where we oxidize the alcohol group on there into a carboxylic acid. I can't open this container. There we go. Anyway, so for that oxidation, we're going to be using good old nitric acid, which is a pretty strong oxidizing agent. So first I'm going to weigh out 80 grams of this 70% nitric acid. Okay, now this is only 70% nitric acid and we need 80%. So I'm going to go ahead and add 8 grams of pure fuming nitric acid. This stuff's pretty nasty. And you see all the fumes coming off it right there. And the reason why it's yellow is due to dissolved nitrogen dioxide. Grams of it, and that'll bring it up to roughly about 80%. Okay, so here's our 80% nitric acid. I really shouldn't have worn gloves when doing that because the pure nitric acid can destroy gloves. I mean, that's just, look at that. See the discoloration on my gloves? That's just from the fumes touching my gloves. Yeah, stuff's pretty nasty and can spontaneously ignite nitrile gloves. Anyway, so now I'm going to go ahead and add this all to this 500 milliliter round bottom flask. And this is where we will be doing our oxidation. Okay, now we're going to weigh out 18 grams of our isoamyl alcohol. Actually, first I'm going to give this a smell test. Ignore the crazy hair. It's actually a very nice smell. But yeah, I would say it smells kind of like a whiskey, but more fruity. And less of the burn. That left a weird feeling in my throat. Almost like it's coating my throat. It's very, very weird. So, I need 18 grams of it in total. Okay, now it's time for oxidation. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw a stir bar in. Anyway, now I'm going to add an addition funnel on top. Now I'm going to go ahead and add our 18 grams of isoamyl alcohol into our addition funnel. Okay, we'll add our gas adapter on. Don't ask me how it got so dirty. I actually have no clue. Okay, and just like that, we can go ahead and start our oxidation. So all we're gonna do is slowly add in our isoamyl alcohol and just make sure it doesn't get too hot. You wanna add a small amount at a time because the oxidation can get exothermic very quickly. So we just wanna slowly add that in and let it react. You can feel that it's definitely starting to heat up a bit, and you can see by the more nitrogen dioxide coming off, that's due to the oxidation. So I'm going to cut down the isoamyl alcohol and let that stir a bit and just make sure it doesn't get too hot. Because if it gets too hot, you can easily have a runaway oxidation, and that will not be good. Okay, so we're getting to the end of it. It's already, I'm catching little whiffs of it, and it does have a BO-like odor. So I'm excited to see once we extract the pure compound what that smells like. Anyway, so we got to go in there. It's all the alcohol we have left. It's pretty cool now, so I'm going to go ahead and add a bit more. You really do got to add this pretty slowly because it gets extremely hot. Nitric acid and alcohols, as you may know, are not really a friendly combination as they can spontaneously run away. So got to add it very slow. It's been probably about 2 hours now, just me adding that in there. And the stir bar's going crazy. But I mean, it's really nothing amazing. I mean, it's just, yeah, that's all it looks like. Pretty boring, but it's gonna create a nice smell afterwards. Okay, the addition is done. Flask is starting to cool down now, so I'm just gonna let this run for about 2 more hours, make sure everything gets fully oxidized, and then we'll begin our workup. And I'm excited to see how this smells, very excited. Okay, our reaction is now complete. There it is, beautiful. Now we gotta disassemble this and let all that nitrogen dioxide out so we can actually begin our workup. Okay, so now I'm gonna add 50 milliliters of ice cold water into our flask. And now I'm going to extract with toluene. The original paper called for chloroform, but I don't have any chloroform at the moment, so I think toluene will substitute. So we're going to do 3 50 milliliter washings. First 50 milliliter washing is going in. And I'm going to turn on stirring. Try to get as much of our isovaleric acid out as possible. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and dump this all into a SEP funnel. Now we're going to go ahead and discard our aqueous layer. Okay, now for all of our toluene layers, I'm going to use a 250 milliliter round bottom flask. And now I'm going to wash with another 50 milliliters of toluene. And now we'll just give that a good shake. Okay, it's settled out now again for our second run. Let's decant off our water. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of it to our 250 milliliter round bottom flask. Okay, so here it is. Now we just got to do a fractional distillation. Okay, now we've got to wait for this to start distilling. And I believe first we should go over toluene, which is around, I think, 110, 115 C. And our isovaleric acid is about 176 C. So, yeah, we should see all of our toluene come over first, and then hopefully our isovaleric acid. Okay, we're starting to get a boil, and looks like some nitrogen dioxide's coming out of solution and entering the rest of the distillation. But that's okay. That will all eventually disappear and out that tube there. Yeah, as you may be able to see, it's almost climbed its way to the top. It's climbing the column right now, and it's almost there. So that should be our toluene. Okay, the temperature has stabilized now at 110 degrees Celsius. So yeah, still getting toluene over, and still got quite a bit of liquid left, so it's gonna be a little bit. Okay, time to change up flasks. I'm going to do my amazing trick that I've learned. What you do is you take that, you rotate it to hold the liquid, dump my toluene into this other flask, flip back around. Beautiful. Perfect harmony. And there's our toluene. Okay, looks like our toluene is slowing down quite considerably. That means what's going to be in there is our isovaleric acid, and yep, there it is. So now we just got to distill it over. Hopefully there's enough of it so it can climb the column. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually lower the heat and set up for a normal distillation, not a fractional distillation. Because I don't think it's going to make it over. It looks like it's tarring a bit. Yeah, you can see right there. So I don't think our isovaleric acid is going to make it over, so I'm just going to, plop everything down a bit. Okay, our temperature is climbing fast. We're at 124 C when you get to around 176. So we got a bit more to go, but it's over the boiling point of toluene and it's over the boiling point of isoamyl alcohol. So should be good news that we're going to get our isovaleric acid soon. Yep, and we're stabilizing at around 174, so only 2 degrees off. So that is good news. Okay, so we're collecting just a little bit of distillate now. Our temperature is starting to drop, so we've pretty much distilled all of our isovaleric acid, and that's about the yield I was expecting. So all is good. I'm going to go ahead and disassemble our distillation. Oh yeah, it's definitely done. There's just a boiling pile of tar at the bottom. Yeah, great. That's going to be a pain in the ass to get out. Probably going to be a piranha acid type deal there. So here it is, the moment of truth. It's time to smell our isovaleric acid, aka the smell of foot odor. So yeah, I caught some kind of earlier whiffs of it, very light. So let's get a full-blown sniff test of the pure compound. So this is going to be interesting. So let's pop our cap off here, and let's give it a whiff. Yep, that smells like fermenting socks, like foot odor. This is like the sour smell of foot odor. If you really let some socks soak in some sweat, this is the kind of smell you'll get. It's kind of sour, like acetic acid, but there's other notes in there that I don't even know. It smells almost kind of fruity sometimes too. It's like a fruity sour type. Like, it's not particularly like a bad smell. It's not like revolting, but it just smells like stinky socks. Like that's what it smells like. Yeah, so there it is. Isovaleric acid, the smell of stinky socks. Okay, so it's the next day here, and we have the smell of stinky feet, and I can still smell it. It's wonderful. But we got quite a bit of it here. It's about 10 milliliters. I think it's the 10 milliliter vial. And then we have a small amount of it here, but we have to do something fun with it. So let's make some cologne out of it. Cologne / perfume, whatever you want to call it. So I've got this little spray bottle here, and the first thing I'm going to do is add our small sample of our isovaleric acid. And I'm just going to dump the whole thing into our container here. That should be plenty of it to induce quite a nasty smell. Okay, and now we need a solvent for isovaleric acid to make our perfume. And like most perfumes and colognes, they all use alcohol. In this case, I'm using 90% food grade moonshine. This shit's pretty much just poison. It's 90% alcohol. It's just poison. If you try to drink this, you will die. Anyway, we're going to use that as the solvent, so I'm just going to add some of it into our little container here. Give it a good shake. And now we have the smell of stinky feet as a perfume. So let's give it a test run. Okay, so here is our final stinky feet cologne / perfume. So let me actually grab a paper towel. And I'm going to spray it onto this like you would any perfume or cologne. Spray it on. Yep. It smells like Stinky Feet. It's a Stinky Feet cologne. That is amazing. Well, it's amazing because I made it. Otherwise, yeah, you wouldn't want to wear this. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and torture some of my roommates and have them smell it and see if they can guess what the smell is from. So tell me what it smells like.
Oh, I can smell it from here.
That's rough. Smells like
Wait, hold on. We'll let everyone choose and then we'll get their guesses.
Right. It smells like rotten something.
Hold on. Okay, so give all your suggestions.
it's rotten
It
something.
smells like
Yeah.
something's rotting.
It's
inside.
so
Like rotten
bad.
cheese.
Like
Okay, that was pretty close. Rotten
smells like
cheese.
bad
Rotten
cheese.
cheese.
I'm on you with that one.
From a
My
specific
body is
place.
not rotting, so I don't know.
No.
Well, I mean,
It still smells
It's kind of toxic.
oh,
Dude,
possibly.
you can literally smell that shit in the air.
Yeah, for real.
You poisoned your room, bro.
So, specific place on the body.
specific place on
place.
the body.
It's not BO.
No.
Not me, at least. I don't
If
know.
it smells like that, then your feet.
I could see feet.
No, I can see.
Yep.
bro.
I could see.
There
feet.
it is.
Yeah.
It is the smell of stinky feet.
Oh my god.
You need to
get rid of
Harrison,
that.
put your socks back.
Put it
Yeah,
back,
for real,
back
put
in
your
the garage. Back
That
in the
needs to
garage.
go away.
Bro, just really.
So that wraps up for today's video, and yeah, so here's our cologne / perfume. Smells amazing. And then here's our pure isovaleric acid, which is the essence of Stinky Feet. And yeah, just remember, keep that isovaleric acid away, or else your feet are going to smell really bad. Sweat kind of smells like this too, but feet more so. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.